Hi guys, and welcome back to Barovia Made. In last episode, we got this far on our pallet block table, and today we are going to start off with some power carving. I got my nice little disc here with my angle grinder. I'm just going to go ahead and try blend all this into a nice flute. So I'm going to set you up on the tripod and let's get to it. Hi guys, so it's a new day. I've bought a spoke shave. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just sit here, watch some telly, and slowly take this down. The only issue is because I wanted to put these on the side to show end grain and stuff, I didn't really think it through, because now it's going to be really hard to plane. So I've just put my spoke shave on the lowest setting there is, and I'm just going to go here and slowly chip away at it until it's all nice and smoothed out, and then we can move on to sanding. So I'm going to probably be here for the next 4 hours or so. So I'm just going to put you on a time lapse, and I'm just going to crack on with it. Sit here, watch some stuff, and yeah. So I'll set you up now. Alright, so we are done with the spoke shave. Gotten this a little bit more smoother, so it's going to be a bit more easier to sand now. I won't have to spend as much time on it. I like the shape. It looks very natural. It gives me like tree trunks sort of vibes. So I'm going to dye this like a brown colour to sort of imitate a tree trunk. But as you can see, we got all these horrible nail holes. Now, as I've said in other videos, I have this nifty little plug cutting set that I got off Amazon. There's a link down in the description if you want to do this. But they cut these little plugs that have a very slight taper to them. So what you do is you drill a hole in these and then you tap them in. Here's one that I've already done. As you can see there, I didn't put it in right. The grain should really align there, but I choose a error. So if you want to pick yourself up some of these so you can do the same thing, there's a link down in the description, so go check it out. They're only like a tenner, so it's worth picking up if you work with pallets, because there's always stuff you have to do. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to cut all these plugs, and then we're going to start drilling these, gluing them in, so it looks a bit more like one piece. So let's go do that now. Alright, so after we've got all of our little plugs cut, I'm going to take a drill bit. What I like to do is I like to get an undersized drill bit, put it in there, and then just wiggle it around a little bit and keep testing to see if it fits in. That way I get the cleanest cut, because this is probably better for hardwoods, but with pine, it's very splintery. So just going in with a big one like this, usually, it rips out the top of the hole, so when you put it in, it doesn't look right. So, well, I'll just go ahead and I'm going to start cutting. This is what I mean by it splintering. Oh, the bits out on the outside. See if that's big enough. Yep, just big enough. And we're going to get some glue. If you want to pick up one of these little bottles as well, I've got one of them down in the description. Very handy. I like to buy my glue in bulk because it's cheaper and it's nice to have a little thing for little projects like this. Right, and after you do, well, actually, before you do that, you want to find out, have a look and see which side it is the tapered side, and then we're just going to put it in there, tap it in, then we've got the plug in, cut it off. Where's my chisel to get rid of that last little nub? You can see there we have our plug cut. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do the rest of these. I'm going to try to do a little bit better with the grain direction because that isn't good. But yeah, that's, if you're interested in picking up one of these kits, got it down in the description. Brilliant little tools for hiding all of these little holes and imperfections. So yeah, I'm going to crack on with this. Get back to you when I'm done with all that. Right, so we got it all finished. I don't know if you can tell, but it looks a lot better without all the holes in it. I didn't do a very good job at aligning the grain when it comes to putting them in, but nevertheless, looks better than it does with a bunch of holes in it. And you probably won't be able to tell anyway, these little dots won't sustain at all. So yeah, just needs a sand now, and need to do the top as well. We'll do all that tomorrow, but I'm sad enough for today because it's getting late. I don't even tell it's dark outside. So I'm going to go get some sleep. See you tomorrow. Hi guys, welcome back. It is a new day and we are going to start sanding. Yay. I absolutely hate sanding. I don't know if you can tell, but we have a lot of sanding to do to get this looking nice and feeling smooth. And we also have to sand the top as well. So we're going to be here a while. I'm not going to bother recording the sanding because, well, sanding's boring, isn't it? So I'm just going to crack on and I'll show you when I'm finished and the next steps we're going to take after that. So see you in a short while. All right. It has been roughly all day. As you can see, it's now nighttime. We finally got the base sanded. It's all nice and smooth now, as well as the top. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and mix up some dye and, well, dye this base a nice brown color. I want it to sort of look like a tree trunk because I like how it sort of flows like that. Not quite sure what it's going to look like with this top on it, with the brown base, but hopefully it looks nice. Hopefully I'm not going to burn myself because this is, well, hot. So I'm going to try to be very careful with this, but what we're going to do with it is just soak it up and put it on and repeat. The more times you do this, the darker it will get, but depending on how dark you want it. Ah, God, yeah. It's hot water. It is important if you're doing this method that you definitely wet between sandings because it will lift the grain because you are pretty much just putting water on there. So, and also this stuff sands off, so you don't want to have to sand it after you've put all this on. So it's very important that you do that. Ah, God, it's burning the hell out of my fingers. I need to go buy some more paintbrushes. I had loads of them, so I have no idea what the hell I've done with them. But yeah, you have to wait for it to dry before you can put any more on, because well in my experience you just put in dye on top of dye, then it's not, the wood's not really soaking it in because it's already soaked up enough water. So I'm no expert with this anyway. I literally only found out about this dye from a YouTube comment on one of my other videos, but I've fallen in love with it. Leaves a nice finish, and well, it's cheap. I don't have to spend like £60 on like a can of something to get a really nice finish. I can just dye it and then put some varnish over the top, and it's good as gold. I want to get it as dark as possible because this pallet wood's got quite a lot of imperfections, and usually the darker you have some, the less you can see the imperfections. So, little tip for you there if you're a bad woodworker like me. Yeah, gives it a very black walnut kind of vibe, minus the grain and stuff. Bit weird as well how some of these plugs that are put in, they're not soaking up the dye, and other plugs are soaking it up more than others. So that's a bit odd. It was all taken from the same bit of wood, I wonder if the glue has soaked all the way through these, so it's made it impenetrable by the dye. I really like here where it's the end grain where it's soaked up a lot of the dye. Really nice, lovely and black. Not black, sorry, brown. But I want to try and get this as dark as possible. I think it'll look nice. Not quite sure how it'll look with the top that's going on it, because the top that's going on it is very light. And it's like a brick pattern. And I'm going for like sort of tree trunk vibes with the base. So I'm not quite sure how that will work out, but we'll see. We can always make another top for this. I have actually managed to get some oak cookies from a friend. So if this top doesn't look nice in it, I can always go with oak and put an oak cookie on top. Have more of a natural shape, which I think will look nice actually. Now I'm questioning myself. Do I put a cookie on top of this face, or do I do that and use that top for something else? We'll roll with it for now, but if you see this base with a cookie on top in the future, well, you've seen my thought process, so you know. Also, one thing I should have done with this project is I should have made this base a lot thicker, because what I wanted to do, which didn't occur to me when I was making this base, is in not what would you call it? I'd want to take some material off and just leave a thin ring round the edge of it so it sits more flat. But I don't have a lot of room, as you can see, it's quite thin. So I don't want to take the base off this and risk snapping the base. But you can see on most products, like here's a can, it sits on a ring. Here's a coffee cup, it sits on a ring. Everything that has to sit flat sits on a ring because it's a lot easier for it to stay stable. But with this, especially over time with wood movement and stuff, might start tipping over and stuff because it won't be flat. So I might actually get some adjustable feet and put it on the bottom of this, or even just get those felt furniture things and put that on the bottom of it. But we'll see. This is my first time ever doing any power carving or anything like that, so really proud of how this turned out, even though it's just pallet blocks and it's nothing fancy. There's a lot of mistakes, like if you can see down in these cracks, it doesn't sit perfectly flat with this base that I put it on. Like you can see there, there's a massive glue seam. It's not quite flush into it, but you know, it's my first time power carving, my first time making a base like this, so it's not going to be perfect. All right. All right. We're gonna let that dry. Looking very nice, huh? What do you guys reckon? All right. I'm gonna quit talking. If I were you, I'd put some latex gloves on because my hands are gonna look like this for a day or two now. But sacrifices. We managed to get the table base all sanded, smoothed out, and you know, roughly finished. We just got to wait for it to. We just got to wait for the dye to dry, and then you know, wax some finish on it, make the grain pop. Same thing with the table. We got to put some finish in that, get that to pop. I'm going to go out, I'm going to buy some figure of eight fixings to fix this too. So, you know, if when the wood moves, it has, you know, a bit of wiggle room. And yeah, we need to put some threaded inserts into the tabletop as well. So lots of things to do in the next episode, but we should be finished in the next episode. So thanks for following along. Let me know in the comments if you like these style of videos, whether it's, you know, part 1, part 2, part 3, me interacting with the camera. Really trying to improve my content on YouTube, so let me know in the comments, and you know, please subscribe. We're roughly at 600 subscribers now. Would really love to get to 1,000 subscribers. That would mean a lot. So if you've stuck around to the end of the video, let me know. Subscribe, like the video. So I'll see you in the next episode. Hope you enjoyed.